when different people came to Krishna and were explaining about how they perceived their dharma, this one particular person who's meek and who took anything that came his way in total acceptance, and so he says that's his dharma. And Krishna says, your dharma is that of the coward or that of the meek, and I'll let you pass. Whereas Jesus says the meek will inherit my kingdom. So what is the difference between how Krishna perceives that as meek and not performing the dharma, whereas Jesus says the meek will inherit my kingdom?
One thing that you should always consider, why I'm going through all these elaborate stories of Krishna's life is so that you perceive him in the right context. It's always very important that one perceives in what kind of situation and what kind of social realities one lived and why they spoke the way they spoke. There is one aspect of the teaching which is of eternal nature, which you will see whoever speaks, they will speak in the same terms. But there's another aspect of the teaching which is relevant to the people who are sitting there at that moment. That relevance keeps changing from generation to generation, not only from generation to generation, within the generation, also from person to person, from groups of people to groups of people, from societies to societies. It is a different reality. So, what kind of social realities did Jesus live in? And what kind of social realities did Krishna live in? And what kind of social realities you are living in right now? We have to bring some kind of alignment to these three if we have to understand this aspect. Let's just take this, that you brought up this meek thing now. One aspect where he sort of more substantiated this aspect of being meek is, if somebody slaps you on one cheek, show him the other cheek. You are definitely not capable of that. How many of you are capable of this? How many of you are capable of this, that if you're slapped on one cheek, you'll show the other? Genuinely, how many of you are capable of this in your life? Nobody? You are? We know you. Huh?
Better to run away.
They may chase you and beat you. So, you're not capable of that. He was talking to his closest disciples when he was talking about sending them out to spread his message. He said, when you go out with this new message, if people come and slap you on one cheek, show the other. But that's not the teaching for all of you. Can you live by those guidelines? Can you? Now, before we consecrated the Dhyana Linga, I used to tell the brahmacharis, if you go outside, if somebody spits on your face, with a big smile, wipe it and come back. Don't do anything else. But now, in the last 3-4 years, I'm telling them, if somebody talks nonsense, you give it to him properly. Not because my perception of world has changed, my role in the world has changed. My perception of world has not changed in any way. but my role in the world has changed. So at that time I told them, if somebody spits on your face, show them a happy face, wipe it and come back. Now I tell them, you stand up, you stand your ground and tell them what you have to tell them. Don't take any shit from anybody. Is this contradictory? It is not contradictory, just acting as the situations demand to make yourself most effective in the conditions you're living in right now. So Krishna is living in a totally different kind of condition and he spoke differently to different people. So when Krishna says the way of the meek is way of inaction, I will let you pass. It's not of any great consequence to me. He's not putting down Jesus, he's just saying, it's a small way. It's just one narrow opening. I will let you pass, all right, you pass. He's not saying only to one man, he said, I turn my back. To everybody else, he said, I'll let you pass, but this is not for everybody. Everybody cannot go out in the world and show their cheeks to everybody else. There are some people who can do it. Yes? There are just a very few people who can do that if they're slapped on one cheek, genuinely show the other cheek. Not because they read it in Bible. Genuinely, they can show the other cheek to be slapped too. They are very, very few people. So he is saying, this is the way of inaction. But I will let you pass. It's just a narrow opening. Not everybody can go through this. That's all he's saying. He's not contradicting. He's just putting it in its right place where it belongs. Is that not the reality?